Good morning, fifth graders. Today is problem of the day 10 for Mrs. Crowe. All right, so it says, number one, every hour on Mondays, the bakers make 75 pies. They make an equal number of pies in each of three flavors, apple, cherry, and lemon. If the bakers work 8 hours on Monday, how many of each kind of pie do they make that day? All right, so to solve this, we're going to need to draw a tape diagram. Let's go back and read the question again, and then we can draw. Every hour on Monday, so this is important here. Every hour on Monday, the bakers make 75 pies. They make an equal number of pies in each of three flavors, apple, cherry, and lemon. So right now with my tape diagram, I know that there are 75 pies in 1 hour. And that's an awful lot of pies. So my total for my tape diagram is 75. But they are making an equal number of pies in each of three flavors. So I'll need to break my tape diagram into three equal pieces. And then I have to think what number can go in each box that when I add them together, I would get 75. I could do 75 divided by 3, or if you know your facts, or if you know your money, each box would have 25 because 25 plus 25 plus 25 is 75. That means they make 25 apple, 25 cherry, and 25 lemon every hour. If the baker works 8 hours on Monday, how many of each kind of pie do they make that day? So if he makes 25 apple pies in 1 hour, how many would he make in 8 hours? So I would need to do 25 times 8. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 2 is 16 plus 4 is 200. So my answer is, if the bakers work 8 hours on Monday, how many of each kind of pie do they make that day? Well, I know he makes 200 apple pies that day. Now this is easy because since they're each 25, I know that for every 8 hours, they're going to make 200 of each pie. So he'll make 200 apple, 200 cherry, and 200 lemon. So my answer is, how many of each kind of pie do they make that day? 200. Good job. Let's move this up. This one was a little tricky. How many cups are in 2.5 quarts? And so we had that poster in the classroom for quarts, pints, and cups. Here's my quart. And inside my quart, there are 2 pints. And inside the pints, there are 2 cups each. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 cups in 1 quart. But I don't have 1 quart, I have 2.5 quarts. So I need to know how many cups are in 2.5 quarts. I'm going from a bigger measurement to a smaller measurement. So I'm converting from bigger to smaller. So when I convert from bigger to smaller, I multiply by the whole number. So I know I have 2.5, and I know I need 4 cups. All right, I can't multiply like this. I need to convert this to an improper fraction. So I'll have to multiply 2 times 2 and then add the 1. So 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. The denominator stays the same. And now I can multiply by 4. And I put that over a 1 because all whole numbers can have a 1 underneath to make a fraction. Now, to make my life easier, I'm going to cross simplify. You cross simplify, so I say, how many times can 2 go into 4? Well, they each have the factor of 2. And now that makes it much easier to multiply. 5 times 2 is 10. 1 times 1 is 1. So my answer will be there are 10 cups in 2.5 quarts. Good job. Let's move down a little. And then it says, write 705 in expanded form and word form. Okay, so most of you probably don't remember what expanded form means. That means when you have to add all the numbers together to get to 705. So I start here in the hundreds place. There are 7 hundreds. There are no tens, and there are 5 ones. So 705 in expanded form is 700 plus 5. In word form, you'll have to type it or write 700, really not easy to write with a mouse, and then 5. Not and, because and means the decimal. All right, last one. Round 106,789 to the nearest 10,000. So I look here and I think, what number's in the 10,000 spot? And that would be here, the 0. The 0 looks back at the 6. What does the 6 tell the 0 to do? The 6 tells the 0 to shove it or bump up to the next number. So the 0 turns into the next number, which is a 1. Everything in front of that stays the same. Everything behind the 0 turns into a 0. Keep the comma, and then these 3 numbers turn into zeros. So 106,789 is closest to 110. And if we put that on a number line so some of you can see, we have 100,000, or I can just do 100 since I'm looking at this. Then I have 110. Remember, my midpoint is always 5, so it would be 105. If I put the numbers on the number line, it would be 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110. Since 106 is right here, is it closer to go to 110, or is it closer to go to 100? And you'll notice it's only 4 hops away from 110, but 6 hops from 100. So 106 is closest to 110. All right, kiddos, see you tomorrow.